People think that gut issues are just about what they eat, but here's the truth. Your stress, your sleep, and the thoughts that you're replaying in your head daily are inputs too, right? And if those inputs are off, no matter how perfect your diet is, your gut cannot heal. Okay. And I had to learn this the hard way. Even when I was eating healthier foods, I still wasn't getting better because of those three things. So let's get into the first one, stress levels. Okay. It's very stressful having gut issues. Okay. And it's not your fault. It's not our fault, right, that we have gut issues. We weren't told how to heal ourselves, how to let our body heal, what proper nutrition and food combining actually is, proper hydration, all of this, okay? And I have videos on all of this too if you want to check these out on my channel. So as far as stress, okay, if you are eating in a stressful state, right, your body is not digesting your food properly. It's not digesting it efficiently or even at all, right? Because when you're stressed, your nervous system just sees stress as one thing. It's stress or it's relaxed, okay? There's no in between really. It's either you're stressed or relaxed, okay? And so when you're stressed, your nervous system thinks that you need to run, right? Because our nervous system is very ancient. Humans are very ancient, okay? And the only thing we were stressed about back then was just running away from danger, right? Either war or maybe a lion out the bushes or a snake, right? There was no emails, there was no deadlines, there was no boss getting on me for being late or whatever, right? So when we're stressed, our body thinks that we are in danger and need to run away, okay? And a lot of us are in this stressful state, right? Arguments, jobs, traffic, things like this. And when we're in this state, our body essentially takes the blood that's in our digestive system and rushes it to our limbs, our arms and our legs and our heart so that we can run. It turns off our digestive organs, okay? And what makes us stressful, the biggest thing that makes us stressful is the way we're breathing. A lot of us are breathing right here in our chest, tightening up all our neck muscles and shoulder muscles. And we're breathing very shallow and through our mouths, okay? And all of these are signs to our nervous system that we are not in a rest and digest state. We're in this fight or flight state, okay? And so when we're breathing this way, or we're overthinking, or we're having the TV on, or we're scrolling while we're eating, or we're not focusing on the present moment and coming back to our breath, because the breath is the fastest way to signal to our nervous system that we're in this rest and digest space, right? To properly digest our food, okay? So instead of breathing up here in our mouth and our chest, we want to be prioritizing breathing through our diaphragm, through our bellies, okay? So on the inhales, through our nose, not our mouth, those inhales, you want to be expanding your belly out as you're inhaling through your nose slowly and deeply, okay? And then when you exhale, that stomach should come back in. You want to be engaging your diaphragm, okay? And this is going to also strengthen that LES muscle, which is the lower esophageal sphincter muscle that holds our stomach acid down. Right now it's weak if you're dealing with heartburn, constipation, GERD, gastritis, things like this, okay? And it strengthens and engages your digestive organs and muscles. So just overall super beneficial for the body. And this is how the body was designed to be breathing through the nose, engaging with our diaphragm. Our diaphragm is the biggest and most important respiratory muscle we have, okay? So that's the first thing. If we're eating super good foods, but we're overthinking or we're eating in chaotic environments, and we might not be seeing it as stressful, right? Because it's so familiar. We're in these mindset loops every day of being annoyed and this and that. But our nervous system just sees it as stress, okay? So you can be eating the perfect diet, but if you're overthinking in a chaotic environment, whatever it may be that's making you stressful, or your nervous system stressful, your body isn't efficiently breaking that food down and absorbing the nutrients from it, okay? So that is the first thing, all right? The second thing is, our thoughts, right? Our diet isn't only what we're putting in our mouth, okay? It could be, what we're inhaling. It could be what we're hearing, what we're letting ourselves hear, what we're letting ourselves or our cells see visually. Okay, if you're constantly on social media and you're seeing all this triggering food content and it's making you like really want this stuff and crave it deep down, this isn't supporting your healing journey. This is, again, going back to the stress, just throwing your nervous system out of whack, right? You got to prioritize being in this rest and digest parasympathetic state so that your digestive organs are turning on and breaking down undigested waste. Because that's a big reason why we have gut issues, is because basically our stomach acid is weak, or our digestive organs and digestive system is not turned on because we're in this sympathetic state. And so our food, instead of breaking down, it sits there and turns into undigested waste, and that can be clogging us up, causing constipation, bloating us, or it can sit and ferment and cause the acid reflux, the GERD, gastritis, heartburn, chest pain, things like this. Okay, so how are you, what kind of music are you listening to, right? All of this goes into your subconscious mind, right? And your subconscious mind is basically those thoughts that are just running in the back of your head, in the back of your mind all day while you're working or exercising. If when people have a song stuck in their head, this is because maybe they never even played it themselves consciously, but they were walking into a supermarket and this song, they just start playing or singing the song later in the day, and they're like, where did I get that from? That happens to me all the time, right? So we got to pay attention to what we're letting ourselves hear. And I know this sounds crazy, but this is real life. Everything is connected. The whole body is connected. Auditory, visually, what we're smelling, what we're feeding ourselves. These are all inputs that are creating this big output that we're experiencing as life, as our reality, as our perspective. Okay? So what are you listening to, right? I always listen to, if I'm going to let myself listen to anything, it's got to be positive, inspirational, supporting my goals, right? I listen to people that are where I want to be at, right? You got to listen to the people that are, have already accomplished what you're trying to and wanting to accomplish. You want to reframe your thoughts as their thoughts for the most part, right? If I want to become rich, I need to listen to, someone that's already rich, right? I'm not going to just listen to someone that hasn't actually done the steps, okay? So pay attention to what you're feeding yourself visually through the ears, okay? And not just your diet. Like I said, the triggering food content is huge factor of just throwing your nervous system all out of whack. What I recommend is you rewire the triggers in your social media platforms, okay? Unfollow, block any content that is not supporting your goals. And to break a bad habit, you need to replace it, okay? So instead, start following very healthy, plant-based, oil-free, gluten-free recipes, recipe pages, fruitarian. So you're just seeing lots of beautiful, juicy, colorful fruit everywhere on your page when you go there, and it inspires you to go eat fruit, because that is not a normal thing for our nervous systems. Our nervous systems thrive off of familiarity and repetition, and fruit, unfortunately, is not something most of us in the Western world have been eating and exposed of throughout our whole lives, right? It's mostly fast food, cooked food, microwave meals, snacks. So when you start feeding your subconscious this fruit every time you get on there, you start thinking about the fruit. You start craving the fruit, okay? So really take this step. This is a huge step right here. Start rewiring everything, all your YouTube channels that you're watching. Make sure they're in some way, shape, or form supporting your goals, supporting your future, because every little thing that you're doing, every action, every thought creates a compound effect that creates your future. You are the creator of your reality, okay? Now, the third factor we have to take into consideration is sleep. Yes, sleep. So important, okay? We humans have an internal clock called our circadian rhythm. Okay, so we are directly connected to the sun and the moon. Whenever the sun starts to come up, our circadian rhythm, our internal clock, starts to wake us up. We start getting energized. We are walking batteries, and the sun is our charger to that battery. Okay, and along with all of this nature we're experiencing and fueling with, coexisting with, right? And the reason it may not feel like that and the sun is against you is because everyone is loaded up with dehydrated, processed flours and oils and chips and cooked food. And so all of that is denatured, right? And we're natural beings, we're nature beings. So when we get in the sun and we burn, this is just the sun exposing our denatured body, right? This dehydrated body, okay? Going back to sleep, if your sleep is all off of, your natural circadian rhythm, this goes back to the nervous system. We are throwing the nervous system out of balance, throwing our internal clock out of balance. So now this is messing with our stomach acid levels, our digestion. So many factors take into play when we are irregulating our sleep levels. So what I recommend you do is just to set a time or a time range of, in 30-minute range of a time that you'll go to sleep every single day, and you follow that. And then you wake up around the same time every day, right? And, even set a time that you stop eating, so that way you're always stopping eating at 6 p.m. every day. And so, one night you're not going till 8 p.m. and that causes you to wake up at a later time, and this, irregulates your sleep cycles. Okay, so this is why consistency is key, because like I said, this creates little bits of this big compound effect of a whole output. All these little inputs that we're all doing on a subconscious level, right? Kind of on autopilot. That's what I mean when I say subconscious, and not on this conscious, like I'm here right now doing this, right? We're doing all these little things, we're thinking about things, we're doing things on our phone, kind of on autopilot. Okay, so consistency is key in having an intention. Okay, today I'm going to go to bed at 7 p.m. or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. or whatever it may be, whatever resonates with you and your goals and what time you want to be waking up. Okay, having a sleep regimen is super key to keeping your nervous system balanced and regulated and feeling good throughout the day, and having high energy levels, and having high energy levels to stay positive and influential and optimistic, and having faith and believing, right? Because going back to what I said, I was eating the perfect diet, but I was stressed and not thinking I was healing, and not really trusting, not believing, and not having that confidence that I can do this, right? But once I shifted my mindset and said, you know what, today I'm healing. This is me as a healing body. I'm going to start choosing my decisions based on me now healing. I'm feeling this momentum, right? Even if I didn't feel it, I'm feeling this momentum. I'm doing this. I'm coming to the light. I'm coming to source, to naturality, to nature, right? Because that's all this is, man. We just got steered off the direction of nature, right? Now we created all these big buildings, and we feel like we need to go in these stores and get all these snacks and all this and that, in the restaurants, and family dinner. We didn't have buildings. We were all outside creating our food with the earth, coexisting, okay, co-working together to create life, to create source, energy, fuel. That's when our food was actually fuel and not just taste, right? Taste is amazing. We have taste buds for a reason. Our food should be tasting amazing, right? But now our food, we're only eating it for taste nowadays and not fuel, really, okay? It might feel a little empty in your stomach, but this is just the familiarity of your nervous system. Like, hey, it's that time now, and I don't have those chicken nuggets, I don't have that burger in me, so you start feeling hungry, right? But you got to get out this loop with consistency, little inputs at a time. Okay, today, not going to have any chips. Okay, I did that for a week. Okay, no more bread, right? Setting intentions is everything. Start drawing out your thoughts, or start planning your days. Every single night, I plan my day. What am I going to eat? What am I going to do productive to feel purposeful? What am I going to do for my health? What am I going to do for my wealth? So to run these back, we've got, let's see, stress, thoughts, right? And what are we feeding ourselves auditorily? I don't know if that's a word, actually. Auditorily, visually, right? Visually, and not just our diet. And then our sleep. If we get these in check, plus our diet, and you can watch more of my videos if you need some assistance on diet, then you can heal. This is exactly what I did to heal my 11 years of acid reflux, GERD, excessive bloating, skin issues, fatigue, brain fog. This has what's opened me up to the healing powers of this nature we're coexisting with. It has everything we need. Every pill you've ever taken, every substance you've ever taken, every snack you've ever eaten has all stemmed from nature. Think about that. Every single pill, every supplement has the baseline of it, right? The foundation of it was from nature. Then they denatured it. Now we're all eating this denatured food. So we got to come back home, family, through our diet, through our sleep, through our nervous system, our stress, what we're feeding ourselves physically, mentally, auditorily, visually. All these things are so, so important for healing. Healing is holistic, not just one factor. Okay? So take this and take action on this. Play this video over. Play this video every single day. Take notes on this video. What it write down if you watch this, type a comment of your biggest key takeaway of this video, the key takeaway that most resonated with you and that you can apply action on today or tomorrow. Much love, family. I hope you guys found massive value and inspiration in this video. Drop a comment if you have any questions, and I will talk to you soon. Cheers.